Endurance racing has always been motorsport's ultimate test.
You never know who you're going to race against. You get real racers and you get people turning up just to figure out how to race. It's unbelievable.
Pushing man and machine to their absolute limits.
It's really a survival sport.
This is a high-speed chase scene that lasts 1,200 miles.
You know, it only takes about 15 minutes to figure out who are the people you can play with and who are the people you stay the hell away from.
Real racing, real tracks, and real cheap cars.
There's no reason why any of you should have any type of meet and greets with your fellow cars on track.
This is the ChampCar Grand Prix. Throughout this 2.3-mile-long 11-turn race course, the relative peace of the morning is about to be shattered with the roar of highly modified automobiles, here to take on the legendary track known as Laguna Seca. This weekend, 55 racing teams and over 200 drivers have come to the world-famous Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, Central California's legendary road course for the ChampCar Endurance Series Grand Prix, a grueling 2-day, 14-hour endurance race. Modern professional motorsports requires massive financial resources, specially built state-of-the-art racing machines, and highly experienced professional drivers to win. To compete in ChampCar requires none of these things. ChampCar is a grassroots, low-buck racing series where the average Joe or Jane can go out and do some serious endurance road racing.
Our cars are old, used-up street cars. Most of the cars you see out there are from the 80s and 90s. They've just become cheap enough that somebody can pick it up with Craigslist and put a cage in it and a fire suppression system and get your buddies together, and you can go race famous tracks for about as little money as can be had.
The ChampCar Endurance Series races at all the celebrated bucket list tracks across North America, including Daytona, Sebring, Road America, Road Atlanta, and Watkins Glen.
That's what these teams want to do. They want to say, hey, I raced at Daytona this weekend, as opposed to saying I raced at, ABC Circle Track.
This weekend's ChampCar Grand Prix consists of a pair of 7-hour endurance races, which are scored as a single 14-hour race.
Did you sleep well? You feeling better?
I slept pretty poorly, but I'll be okay.
Feeling better?
I put the engine back in the car with a cold. Why can't I drive with a cold, right?
Craig's a little sick.
I'll be okay.
Team Los Cerdos Voladores is a 7-year veteran of ChampCar.
It's the Flying Pigs in Spanish, but none of us actually speak Spanish.
The Southern California-based team consists of Greg Smith, Eric Hoyshale, David Carr, and for this weekend, newcomer Kevin Wesley from Michigan. They're racing Greg's 1991 Plymouth Neon.
I got a phone call on Monday and said, do you want to come race at Laguna Seca on Saturday? This is a vacation for me. I mean, I'm here to enjoy my weekend. And don't tell my wife that.
Bare Bones Racing has returned to Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca to settle a score.
Came down here a year ago, right about this time, and we blew our engine. And so we had unfinished business.
The team is made up of car co-owners and drivers David Fosberg and Matt Williamson, along with new teammates Keith Mayer and Chris Foreman. They are racing Half Pint, a well-worn 1994 Mazda Miata.
We're actually an international racing team. Half of us come from Portland, Oregon. The other half comes from Canada.
The team name Bare Bones really is a mantra for how we operate. The trailer that we bring the car, we rent that by the day. The truck that we use to pull the trailer is actually the truck of the uncle of our crew chief.
Drivers meeting! Drivers meeting! There's no reason why any of you should have any type of meet and greets with your fellow cars on track. You guys are more than capable of keeping your cars clean and having a good clean race, so let's do that today. Courage the grid, let's have a fun, safe day, everybody.
Eric will be behind the wheel of the Team Los Cerdos Voladores Neon at the start of the race.
Greg's one of my old friends, so it's fun to just come out to California, you know, on the cheap, on frequent flyer miles, using hotel points, spend as little money as possible, and, you know, come to the racetrack for a couple of days. What could be better, right?
David will start day one of the ChampCar Grand Prix in the driver's seat of Barebones Racing's Half Pint.
This is real racing. Everything that you see here, although the cars are not as expensive, the technique and the formula is all the same that you would see in high dollar type of racing.
Thank you. Spent a lot of time prepping the car, so nothing left to chance at this point car-wise. Confident the car's ready to go, and I got a great driver crew, that's for sure.
We just drive solid, don't overdrive the car, keep it on the track, keep it shiny side up, and yeah, we'll do all right today.
For all the drivers, the next 14 hours will stand apart for the rest of their lives. They will cover 796 miles, the equivalent of driving the length of California north to south.
This reminds me what it was like racing in the 50s. It's not commercialized, it's just real people getting out doing some real racing.
Prior to the waving of the green flag and the start of the race, the 55 Champ cars circulate around the 11-turn track at a reduced speed for a few parade laps. However, even at this leisurely pace, Lady Luck reminds Eric how she can be a cruel mistress. During the pre-race parade laps of the first day of the ChampCar Endurance Series Grand Prix held at the world-famous Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, Eric Hoyshally loses control of the Team Los Cerdos Voladores Plymouth Neon in turn 9.
I lost it. I was, you know, turn the wheel, lift off the throttle, slide back because the backs were cold, and I lost it. I lost it. I couldn't catch it. I went off on the inside. There's a drainage thing right there with sandbags. I hit it, jumped, and then landed straddling the inside curb. It's pretty embarrassing.
In a stroke of good luck, the Neon remains unscathed.
Green flag, green flag, green flag.
There's a lot of adrenaline pumping through the veins. Guys want to get out in front with you know, clear track ahead of them. So people are just trying to beat it to the first corner to get ahead of everybody.
Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, the 11-turn, 2.238-mile road course, is a favorite of racers and fans worldwide. However, many focus on one specific section, officially turns 8 and 8A, or more commonly known as the corkscrew. The corkscrew drops 59 feet between the entrance of turn A to the exit of turn 8A, the equivalent of a 5.5-story drop in only 450 feet of track length.
It's Laguna Seca, just soak it in. Every moment of the track is going to be really amazing.
Both David and Eric are racing small cars that are not as fast and powerful as the larger BMWs, Datsun Z cars, and the all-American V8 Mustangs and Camaros they're competing against. Yet in the right hands, both cars are capable of winning the ChampCar Grand Prix. This is because the Neon and Miata can go substantially further on a tank of gas than their faster and thirstier competition.
So they've got to be fast enough to compensate for an extra fuel stop.
We may not have the straight line speed as the other big V8s and V6s do, but we're consistent, lap after lap, and that's what you got to have, consistency.
Within an hour from the start of the ChampCar Grand Prix, Eric has raced the Team Los Cerdos Voladores Neon into 9th place. His biggest challenge is sharing the track with virtually every kind of driver, from seasoned pro to first-time novice.
You know, it only takes about 15 minutes to figure out who are the people you can play with and who are the people you stay the hell away from.
A track corner worker witnesses the green MG careen off track and immediately radios into race control that Eric bumped the car, causing it to run off the track. He is immediately black flagged and called to the pits.
Hello, sir. You bumped somebody? I contend I did not touch him.
Eric's denial falls on deaf ears, and he's given a time incinerating drive through the pits penalty.
I think we lost coming into pit and talking to them and going out. I'd be surprised if it was more than a minute, but it sure feels like a lot.
The time spent in pit lane drops the Neon to 13th place. Just minutes into the first day of the ChampCar Endurance Series Grand Prix held at the world-famous Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, Bare Bones Racing's road to redemption is off to a quick start, as David Fosberg has impressively piloted Half Pint to 9th place.
I was very fortunate at the start. I broke away with the lead pack, and we were able to start clicking off some lap times before we caught up with slower traffic, so that was a really nice feature to have.
Chris Foreman has replaced David in the little black Mazda.
It's like dog years out there as far as just the speed of how fast time goes. My pit crew will come out and signal me when there's 5 minutes left, and it seems like they're coming to the wall telling me my shift's over, and it's just gone by like that.
Two hours into day one of the ChampCar Grand Prix, Eric brings the Team Los Cerdos Voladores Neon into the team's pit stall for the first refuel of the day and to hand the car over to new teammate Kevin Wesley.
It's fun to run something that's inexpensive and beat up.
This is the first of 3 pit stops of the day for the Neon team.
We're big on safety here, and so we require every person that pits has to follow a strict set of rules. Drivers are allowed to run 2 hours maximum. If they exceed that, they will be black flagged and brought in to serve a penalty. Then they got to take an hour break and they can get back in the car. If they're putting fuel in the car, they're going to have to be on pit road for at least 5 minutes. That's to make sure that they don't rush through the fuel process and spill gas all over each other. As a result of it, we haven't had any injuries on pit road, other than somebody being dumb maybe and opening up the radiator cap that's still hot. But yeah, we can't write rules for everything.
That was about the easiest 2 hours, you know, like physically and mentally, the easiest 2 hours on me that I've ever done with you. God, I miss racing. I get the damn kids out of the house.
It's Matt Williamson's turn to get behind the wheel of Bare Bones Racing's Miata Half Pint.
We like to think we lead from behind. I'll hang back a little bit, and you know, it's a momentum car, so you know, I try to carry momentum through corners. I'll be back a little ways, and you know, as they slow down in the corner, I'll catch up to them in the corner, and hopefully when we're coming out, I'll be right on their bumper. I'll be trying to get past them.
While the faster U-Boot Rennenwerks 944 Porsche and Slugworks Mitsubishi Eclipse are locked in a heated battle for first place, both the Los Cerdos Voladores Neon and the Bare Bones Racing Miata remain in the hunt for the overall win. Kevin has raced the Team Los Cerdos Voladores Neon back up the leaderboard into 11th place before he handed the green and orange racer to teammate David Carr.
So I'll be driving for about 2 hours. As long as I can keep Greg in a good spot and he can stay in a good spot, tomorrow we'll be in a pretty reasonable area.
Further down pit lane, Barebones Racing's new driver Keith Mayer is taking over the reins of the black Miata from Matt. The team is presently in 8th place.
You'd swap a fast car that could break down compared to a slow car that'll make it to the end of the race any day. So you just have to keep your eyes on getting the car to the finish line.
Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca has always been a bucket list track for Keith.
The first time I got to do the corkscrew was in a group of other cars, and it's an unbelievable experience. The drop alone, it makes you want to come back.
Just 5 hours into the first day of the ChampCar Endurance Series Grand Prix at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, the race has evolved into a mental roller coaster with no margin for error.
The worst case scenario is when somebody is doing something erratic. You expect them to take the race line and to do something weird and go off to the non-race line.
During day one of the ChampCar Endurance Series Grand Prix at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, 55 racing teams and over 200 drivers are constantly reminded that the track plays no favorites.
Whoa!
Within moments of the incident, the red flag is displayed, requiring all the racers to stop on the track to allow the emergency vehicles to get to the driver in the wrecked race car.
Driver, how are you?
I'm totally fine.
Totally fine?
Totally fine.
Okay.
They're pulling a guy out off the track. I think he understood racing wrong.
The ChampCar Grand Prix is a 2-day, 14-hour trial by fire, designed to push man and machine to their limits. Sometimes beyond. Contact becomes contagious. Bent metal and broken dreams litter the garage and paddock.
It's a huge field that we have out there, 55 cars. There's going to be some incidents, that's racing, so keeping out of trouble, keeping up the speed and keeping the car reliable is going to be our strategy.
Getting to the business at hand, David Carr has raced the Team Los Cerros Voladores Neon back into 9th place. Team leader Greg Smith is taking over the Plymouth for the final driving stint of the day. His shift will cover the remaining 60 minutes of the first day of the championship.
I am field service training manager for Subaru of America, so I teach the technicians, the guys at the dealers who fix the cars. I teach people how to fix cars in the day, and I fix my car at night, I guess.
The closing hour of the day's race is perhaps the most important. Greg must avoid any trouble on the track and keep the Neon in contention for Part 2 of the ChampCar Grand Prix tomorrow. Without warning, Greg is hit by an Acura in turn 11. The collision has cut the Neon's left rear tire, causing it to slowly go flat. Now he must drive around the 2.23-mile-long circuit at a snail's pace to get back in the pits, losing several positions in the standings.
From where the intended hit me at 11, my left rear is flat, the steering's off center. All right, all right.
Eric, Kevin, and David quickly change the flat rear tire, but the damage has been done. The team has lost several minutes in the pits and 2 laps to the leaders.
Probably overall, if you had to limp it in, probably 5 minutes total.
Team Los Cerros Voladores raced to a high of 9th place. However, the cut tire incident drops them back to 12th place.
You have to count on other people's misfortune almost to get that back.
As the first day of the ChampCar Grand Prix comes to an end, the remaining cars return to the pits, where the teams will start their preparations for Part 2 of the endurance race.
The car looks fine. No, those links look bent.
It's probably fine. I mean, it's, you know, it's not
Don't worry about it, man.
Actually got a small chunk on the right front. Nothing of real concern.
I wasn't too happy with how that stint went. Nor getting my helmet off. That's not easy either.
So we probably lost 5 minutes today. It's just the way it goes. It's racing, and we hope everybody else loses their 5 minutes tomorrow.
The two time-devouring on-track incidents has planted Team Los Cerdos Voladores into a deep 12th place hole to dig out of.
Hey, it came back in one piece. That's a positive.
While the Los Cerdos Voladores team lick their wounds, Barebones Racing celebrates their successful first day at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca.
Without incident, it was great. It was just it was a good day.
Great team effort from everybody here on the team. We are the fastest car in the corners of anybody in the field here. I would take our car against anybody in the corners.
The overachieving micro-budget Pacific Northwest team finished the first day of the Grand Prix in 6th place, well within striking distance of the race-leading Slugworks Mitsubishi and U-Boot Rennenworks Porsche.
I think this car, I think these team members can do it, so we're going to give it our best.
Tonight, both teams will plan tomorrow's race strategy.
Prep ourselves, I guess, is what we have to do, and think if there's anything we want to do strategy-wise differently tomorrow.
We're going to have barbecue, we're going to celebrate, and we're going to get ready for tomorrow.
We'll keep going. That's what this is all about, right?
Next on part 2 of the ChampCar Grand Prix.
It's a fine line between pushing too hard and bringing the car home.
A lot of the drivers maybe are feeling a little fatigue, and that's when mistakes and errors can happen.
I got hit by a Miata coming out of 11, which was complete crap.
If a car is on your lap and it looks like you can run faster than them, you go after it to get a position. And that's when things get a little nutty.
There's like 20 laps left. He's pulling in 2 seconds a lap. And if you do the math, it comes down to the last 4 minutes of the endurance race, down to the wire.